All right, welcome back. We're doing Seapower the State from Simulations Canada, approximately 1982 it was published. Stephen Newberg was a designer. Compass Games is currently republishing. We are using the preview graphics from the Compass Games sites for the Vassal mod, and I can tell you they look a lot better than the original graphics from back in 1982. Previous videos, I've done a virtual unboxing, gone over the rules, and we even did a playthrough. I did a playthrough of the Mediterranean, kind of Sixth Fleet, just to get arms around the combat rules. And now the next bite-sized chunk is the Pacific. Test out a lot more rules now. Um, and we're on the second turn, and one of the rules we're testing out is conflict level. It's anywhere from 1 to 5. 1 is peacetime, which is what we played last turn, so everybody can move around freely, no combat. 2 is conventional war. 3 turns into tactical. The anti-ship or all the weapons, basically the anti-ship weapons become, I think, quadrupled. I'd have to look. And then you go to operational, and all the bases and ship concentrations are blown up. And if you go to level 5, that's strategic nuclear warfare, global nuclear warfare. Pretty much that's the last turn, and it really focuses on, are your SSBs, SSBN, ballistic missile submarines in position. So, like I said, already played the first turn, peacetime, and Soviets were doing a number of things. They're moving their boomers under ice. We do see them here on this map. And then they're trying to mine the entry point here, at least, to prevent the U.S. from getting in there. But the U.S. did slip in. Looks like an Ohio class and a pair of, not quite sure of the, yeah, probably a Los Angeles with maybe VLS, than a previous class. Soviets look like they have a Typhoon, and maybe, I don't know, by the silhouette an Alpha, I don't know. But a lot of the boomers are moving up here for the Soviets. Here another American fast boat is trying to slip into under ice here before the door shuts. Then a lot of Soviet fast attacks flushed out of their sub base here to get on the shipping lanes. That's where victory points come. And we kind of have a cat and mouse game between an American carrier battle group and a Minsk class Soviet battle group. So, looking at the sequence of play, and I can tell you just from my limited experience so far, the Soviets will cause some damage, but I don't think they're going to last long. Especially when you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm seeing 5 carrier battle groups. I hope I'm not missing one. Yeah, and those are pretty wicked, those carriers. So, we'll see. So I did an initial look here, and but let's go ahead. Conflict level determination. Both sides bid what level they want. They can bid. There's limits to bid to 5. I forgot how many turns of conventional warfare. Maybe 3 before you can even bid to 5. You know, of level 2 or more, so you can't just jump right to that. But whoever bids the highest, that's the level. So if the Soviets, like for example, wanted to go to 3, and the U.S. wanted to stay at 1, well, it's 3. But in this case, just to play this out, I'm kind of setting the rules. I'm just going to say this turn now becomes level 1 conflict. So, you know, maybe the Soviets bid level 1, the U.S. bid level 2, I'm sorry, and the U.S. bid level 1. Now the U.S. does get 10 victory points if they bid level 1, but then it becomes level 2. This is an optional rule which we're not exploring yet. It's just the shipping lanes. This is how victory points, one of the ways, are generated by Soviets occupying and interdicting the shipping lanes, which is a big deal over in the Atlantic because that's where the European reinforcements come from. So that brings us down now on the new turn to the movement phase, and it is level 1 conflict, so movement rules do apply. Surface ships entering an enemy base or with enemy units must stop. Submarines can go through too, but if you hit a mine, you got to stop, and that has to be resolved during the combat phase. Luckily, this guy's starting there for the U.S. So my general strategy, I was like back and forth about here. I mean, they're within range of 2 carriers. This Minsk group is not going to last long. This is the weaker carrier, probably the Kitty Hawk. This one is nuclear powered, and based on the numbers, I bet it's the Enterprise. They're just going to take a shot here. They're going to drive up here and bring in this cruiser that has A-range weapons, and bring in some bombers, although we did see in the Med conflict those bombers against a carrier, they don't last long, F-14s with Phoenix missiles. So that's strategy down here. Here they're just going to shift away and cover the shipping lanes here, try and split the U.S. forces, have a battle here and a battle here, as opposed to the center where then the U.S. could concentrate all those carriers. Don't know if that's a great strategy. These units are going to move up under ice. Got a bunch of boomers coming here, maybe do a little mining. This is a very fragile group, so they're going to park in this level 1 base for protection, but they're in a perfect position if the U.S. isn't paying attention to threaten these shipping lanes. So it's kind of, we're not necessarily going to commit them, but they're going to be in a base, hopefully, and then they can just force the U.S. to station forces here. That at least is a strategy. Oh, there's the other carrier battle group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 5. Alright, so we're in the movement phase, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and do that and show you the results in a sec. Alright, so I've done my movement here, and just to cover it here, first off in the north, under the ice cap, you see a whole bunch of ballistic missile submarines with a fast boat. Yeah, ballistic with 2 fast boats, not as good. So we'll see if they decide to go after them next turn. This is on a mine, so it's not an effect. I mean, there's no combat here. It only happens when you move into the hex. These two are going to do some more mining. The surface units here are hiding in the E1 base, level 1 base. They're probably going to mine here. And the fast attacks here moved away from these, because if they stayed here, that would have been forcing combat. So this kind of starts spreading things, and don't let them get an initial take them out, and then the carriers come out and finish them off. So you see 2 over here to try and divide them. You see a few over here. Oh, this unit got to yeah, he moved 5. No, here's the unit. This unit, there's a problem here. If you move submarine if you move 4 or more hexes with a sub, it's making noise, it's going fast, its EW value goes down by 2. So this guy moved here. Unfortunately though, it's getting an EW minus 1 because this is a shelf hex. So we'll see. We have Japanese units, we have a carrier battle group here, we'll see how they go after those. And then the big thing is the Soviet surface forces concentrate against the Kitty Hawk here. Right now the odds, the Americans have an advantage, but for the heck of it, we're going to do a main force attack here. And I looked. Now the next phase is assigning aircraft. And first off, I'm going to do something interesting here. I'm going to take the patrol craft, and this is coming out of this big base here. And let me see what their range is. 3. Okay, whoa, that's kind of limiting. 1, 2, 3, but I can get one here because this has a lower EW of 5, so maybe I can get lucky. Of course, I'm going to put a lot more than that there. I'm going to probably assign 3 of these here. There was another 5 here, but I can't get to it. 1, 2, wait, what's here? Nope, can't fly over that. That'll get shot down. And I'm sure these are being used. I'd love to put them onto 5. That's what I'm thinking here. But I can't get there. I just can't get there, and these are in the way. Now, instead I could just fly them out of this base. So let me see. An E3 base can handle 3 aircraft. Oh, I'm good. So I'm going after the older fast attacks here. Yeah, they got a 5 EW and a 3 defense. And I have to assume, yeah, this one has a 4 defense. I need the EW low for localization, and then I need the defense. This one has a 5, 5. this one has a 4. Let's see, how many M2s did I lose? Well, I'm just testing this. Well, what the heck. Yeah, let me do this. I'll just do half. They probably would have done some in the med, but ooh, the other cool thing is both these submarines are, no, those are blue sonobuoys, so they don't count. So we'll see how that plays out, and then I've got to do a massive bomber grouping here, and I was debating it. The bombers have to be the A-range bombers because they'll have 2 attacks on them if they're B-range. And I just looked at this, and let's see. Yeah, Bomber 2 has a range of 12, 7. Let's see what kind of, the max number I can do will be coming out of these 2 level 2 bases, 6 each. I can do 12 bombers. So, just to be fair, I'm going to do 6 B3s and then 6 B2s. But no B1s because they're 10 Bravo for surface. So that's, let's just go that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. So that is some serious Soviet regiments. We'll see what they can do here. So that is the aircraft assignment phase. Coming back here, we can say the next phase is mine combat resolution. Again, yeah, that would be if Soviet units moved into Allied mines, which I was tempted to do here to get after these Australians, but that didn't make sense and it wasn't worth it. Then we go to, and notice satellite ops are down here. It's too bad I don't have an RSAT on this. I was looking at the RSATs and I would have had to launch one way up here on this track to help it with localization here, but there's nothing I can do there. So the next thing we do is surface ship localization. And that's the only place it's happening is here. Alright, so here we go. Let's look at total applicable phasing EW values plus a die roll. Subtract highest applicable non-phasing EW value plus a die roll. And divide by 2, and that's the number of units. So if we look at this, we have, it's interesting how this always gets in the way. We have, right now for the surface units, we have 3, 6, 9, 11. But these bombers roaming around, let me get rid of this. 11. Yeah, we have 11 and 18, if I'm doing this right. 11 and 18 is 19. Wait, no, 29. And then we got 4s. These are pretty good here. 29 and 24 is like 53. Wow. And then you just do the highest EW value here is a 3. The best they can get is 9. 9 from 53 is like 40. Half of 40 is 20. So in theory, thanks to these bombers here, so I'm going to check in the rules real quick to make sure they aircraft add to it too. Yep, and with all of that localized, pretty much every. Okay, I got my mic little malfunction there. But yeah, these units, they have an anti-surface value, so they are part of it. So using the formula, it really, once I get up to 50, just doing the aircraft alone, that's 24. And 6, 18 is 34 is 42. And then 42 minus 9 is 42 minus 9 is 33. Half of 33 is at least 15. There's only 4 units. They're all localized. Alright, so you put enough air power up, anybody's going to be found. So that's done. So we move into the next thing. Then we do AAAS combat resolution. So we're going to pull up our handy dandy thingy here. And we're going to go find our battle counter marker here. so we don't lose track. Battle hex, there it is. So we'll have that ready to slide up here in a second. So these units are in, these units are in, these units are in. Oh, bummer, we're in a Western 3 base. Oops, well, I didn't notice that, so. Let's see, let's drop a base marker in there to show that they're part of this too. Okay, class 3 base. That's a big EW value. I don't know if that applies. We don't have to localize a base, so that's not it. Bases and aircraft are automatically localized. Oops, these guys go up here. And we go here. And then this is the CVBG. And you'll see the problem with this CVBG is the escorting ships only have sea range. So the Soviets potentially are going to get 2 shots. If they, whatever survives the first shot, these guys and any of these will get a second shot here. So let's go ahead and move into our combat rounds here. Let's go back to our, well, let's see. I think we got another way. Here we go. Let's try this one. So we've done localization. So combat, the first thing we do is air to air. And these are now the attacking players to try and attrit these. So it's sum of all the air to air plus 1d6 equals that. So the total air to air we have, that's the top left, is 8. Well, let's see. 5 and 5 is 10. Is 13. 13 and 22 is 35. So we got 35 plus 1d6. Let's see if that's right. Yep, 35 plus 1d6. So they have, well, 37. Let me toss that somewhere real quick. So they have 37 AA factors. And then what we do next is subtract total EW of applicable defenders. Yeah, let's check the game tables, make sure I do this. Sum non-phasing EW. I think this chart is wrong here, but so we sum this, and this is pretty big actually. There's defense in numbers. EW here is 24. 24 and 18 is 34, and 8 is 42. Okay, so 42 to 37 seems to imply that the attack failed. So let me check that real quick here. Okay, this is the rules here. So actually it's 47 because of the base down here. So that does mess with things. So they get 47 versus there's power in numbers here again. 24 and 18 is 34 and 8 is 42. So it's 5. They can only take out 5, so they could take out one of these or one of these. So if I read this right, and I'm wondering about this now, if you have enough bombers, they can't hit them. Or maybe they have electronic warfare, jamming, etc. But they do take out one of these bombers, and that's it. And then we go to A range resolution. So they're going to rain down missiles on this unit here. I guess if you commit enough bombers, that's going to do it. So now we move to A range resolution. Let's see, AAA non-phasing bases, localized CVs must attack AS. A-range units bases, both players must attack. So, and then these are one-shot use, actually. They'll be gone after this, but they're going to cause some damage. So we can do the Soviets first. 5 times, oh my goodness, that's 80 and 72. That's 152 missiles rained down. plus this is 152. That's 160, 183. Dang. 183. Okay. Let's see the procedure here. 183 plus 3 is 186 minus wow. 186 minus 6 is 180. 175 points of damage. But this one comes into 165 points of damage. I don't think, yeah, that's right. Because they can help shoot down missiles, but still 160, they're gone. They're gone thanks to this. Okay, that's pretty awesome. One carrier versus, I don't know how many bombers. That's a lot of bombers. So I'd question whether they'd, well, maybe they will. But these units get to shoot back, so for A range, they've only got 42. And then they'll roll a 1d6. They got 47 minus, and this is now the surface ships. So let's see, yeah, 47. And then you subtract the EW values again, the sum of the EW values. 3, 6, 9, 11, 13. So 47 minus 13 equals 37 equals 34. Is that enough? They got this. 19 and 6 is 25. 25 and 4 is 29. 29 and 8 is 37, which is 3 too much. But instead they'll do 8, 27, and 6 is 33. Bingo. So they leave this little destroyer here. And these guys go home, but these guys are all sunk. So that's interesting. Let's just send them. Send to destroyed. Oh, didn't collect them all. Okay. These guys we send to destroyed. So that threat's gone. Is it worth sacrificing a carrier? I don't know. But this was it. This was the trick here. Commit enough units, but you can only do this probably in 1 or 2 hexes on the board, unless I had massed my carriers. I mean, that's why you kind of want to group the carriers to defend against this kind of stuff. Let's just say the F-14s were pretty much overwhelmed with this vast number of bombers coming out of Vietnam. So they must have been pre-staged. So that combat's over. And these units go home. And they only lost 1. I think, yeah, I sent that there. So it is possible to kill U.S. carriers. But now they're gone. So that's gone. Let's pull this off here. So that's the end of the surface combat. So now we have a number of localization attacks here. So we can try this now. Let's do this sub-localization. I'm at 23 minutes, so I'm almost at the limit here. But let's see if I committed enough units to patrol craft, ASW patrol craft, to attempt to localize those submarines. So let's pull up our game charts again, wherever they went. Let's pull up the formula this time. Let's see what it says. Localization. Divide by 2, but submarines are different, I think. But looking at this, EW values here, 369. Its EW value is 5. So 9 plus 1d6 minus 5. Well, 9 and 5 are 14. Say it's this one, and it's, let's do this one first. 14 minus 6. Oh, plus a die roll. 3. So 14 minus 9 is 5. Divide by 2 is 2. Okay, so let me check the rules on that. Okay, that means I've localized them. I had 14, and we subtracted 9, so we got a 5. Divided by 2 is 2, or 3. Okay, so we have localized, so that means we can proceed to combat here. And let's go ahead and check AS combat, pretty much total applicable attack values of attackers, and that's their ASW values are 7. So they have 21. So they're going to kill this sub. 21 and 5 is 26. 26. And then 26, subtract the EW value of defenders. Well, that's not very much. 26 minus 6, they get down to 20. Result is equal to massive total defensive value, and this thing only has a 4. So that's a success. Send that to the destroyed ships. But we got the same thing here. This one's got an EW of 5. They've got an EW of 9. So the 9 gets a 11. The 5 gets an 8. 11 minus 8 is 3. Divided by 2 is 1, dropping fractions, but that's all they need. So they were able to localize. So if you commit enough, you're good. 21. Defensive 3, that's, I don't even have to worry about that one, that's not good. So, that one is destroyed. Wow. Maybe I should have gone after more. What's the lesson here? And here we got a defensive 4, 5, 3, 6, 9, 9, 10, 11, 11 minus 8, there we go. They needed a 4 to be hidden. They had rolled that. Well, no, that would have still been it. They needed a 5. If they were 5, they could have evaded all these aircraft. 3 times 7 is 21. 21 minus 4. Yeah, I don't have to roll it. 21 minus 5 is 16. And this thing only has a defensive 4. So if I'm playing this right, send to destroyed ships. So, there we go. The Soviets have taken out some of these lone wolf fast attacks by leveraging these. I wonder how you protect against that. That's another interesting combination. So 2 important lessons here. I'm going to end it because we're at 28 minutes. But we did see with enough bombers against a single carrier, you will overwhelm it. So maybe a more efficient way to attack this, and we were able to commit 12 bombers because we had 2 bases that could support them, so they would have flown them all here. So maybe this should have recognized that as in harm's way. But so we did learn enough bombers. Now if I had had 2 carriers there maybe, or 3, that would have done more AW value, anti-air, but still. Throw enough aircraft, and we saw the same thing up here. Submarines by themselves, especially with lower EW values, like this one probably would have been tougher with an EW value of 7. But you put enough aircraft up, and you can find them. So the Soviets did some damage, but we're going to see next turn now with the U.S., and we still got satellites. I'll show you that at the beginning of the next one, etc. But this was the main part of the turn. But this is going to look like an interesting duel here. There is one more American fast boat coming in. So they may be tempted to take them on here. There are 2 fast boats here, not bad. So we could have quite the duel under the ice here next turn with the U.S. Alright, so we'll learn some lessons here. Actually, what the U.S. should have done was look at the range of the bombers and maybe stayed out of that range. Or if they do move into the range of a lot of bombers, it better be more than 1 carrier. because they got decimated, and we didn't really need to commit. Well, we didn't really need to commit um, the Minsk group to that one. We could have done it with the bombers. So learning some lessons here. Maybe I should write them down. And these patrol aircraft are dangerous. So anyway, thanks for listening. If you like, comments appreciated. Come back next time, and basically the U.S. revenge from the Soviet surprise attack, and then the duel under the ice, and we'll see how that plays out. So thanks for listening.